Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be playing another game of Total War Warhammer Multiplayer Battle. I'm the Strategy Professor. This is part of a pure battle series, which means we don't do Lord Sniping and we don't do any shenanigans or tomfoolery that would otherwise give us an advantage over the AI. However, some viewers have recently expressed some reservations about Lords like this, and I don't really follow the forums too much, or I don't watch a lot of other streamers or professional players that play a lot of multiplayer battles for Total War Warhammer. Perhaps I should. I just come up with a lot of this stuff on my own, just through trial and error, and just thinking about what I've learned from the campaigns and how I might be able to apply that to multiplayer. But there has been some dissatisfaction with people with running a bunch of heroes with these potions, because it seems very, I don't know what to describe it, good or cheesy or something like that. So I just a couple of just preliminary comments here, what I think about that, and then how I'm going to try to address that, right? Okay, so first of all, I think I've tried a strat like this with every single faction so far, or not every faction. Let's see, what haven't I played? I haven't done Chaos or Vampire counts with it, but I've done the other factions, and I've won all of those games when you run a 4-hero setup with your Lord, and the combo is just anyone that has these potions, basically. The blue and the red potion. You just run them. Whichever Lord has it, usually only one Lord has it, you run 3 of those with the potions, and then you run, I like to run one magic user just to run Winds of Magic. Usually you pick one spell that you like. So with I always call him Malkador, the Celestial Wizard. He's Malkador in my multiplayer game, or in my campaign game, rather. You pick one spell that you like, that's it. You just make them real cheap. You spam that one spell as much as you can, and you run around and try to hide with your wizard. If he dies, whatever, you know, it's only 300 or 400 gold with most factions. So I think this is the winning combo. Then everything else is really dependent on the faction, the matchups, and your own strategy and how you want to play it. So I don't think the potion meta really dictates specific strategies. I think you have to definitely consider it when you're taking this into account. For instance, these great swords are great. They're great. Sorry for the pun there. But I mean, they're really good at taking down enemy lords because they have very heavy armor piercing and they get bonuses versus infantry. Also, if you suspect they might run mounted lords, then spearmen are great against mounted lords. So there definitely is counterplay to the strategy. If you run a faction that has poison, like greenskins, poison really good against lords. And yeah, or you can just put your lords on their lords. If they have flying lords like I have here, then something like crossbowmen are excellent against flying lords. So I have countered this strategy before. If you look at my Greenskins episode number 1, the dwarf player was running, I think, 3 heroes and a lord instead of 4 heroes and a lord. And I'm pretty sure he had potions on at least 2 of those. And I was able to counter it and beat him pretty soundly. So I think there are counterplays to it, and that's why I don't think that it's as cheesy as the previous patch where it was all about Lord Sniping. So I think this is a good solution to Lord Sniping. I like what CA was thinking here. Because with Lord Sniping, if they just ran up with something like Vampire Counts and did Spirit Leech, like 3 Spirit Leeches on your Lord, boom, you're dead, that's it. And a lot of heroes were pretty worthless for many factions, honestly. The Vampire Counts with the Vampires, extremely powerful because they're very good in melee combat and they have Spirit Leech. And there were just a handful of other heroes that were worthwhile. And otherwise, most heroes were just garbage, so you just wouldn't get a lot of heroes, right? Well, now it's the opposite, where you get a lot of heroes. So I think it's just a shift the other way in meta, and I think it's kind of cool that it shifted to where now you have these really important single units that you have to micro pretty carefully. The heroes, or the potions, can help bail you out a little bit, but trust me, I've lost games with this build. I don't put a lot of them on the channel because I don't want to put too many losses on there. But it's definitely possible to lose. I lost to the Greenskins because they just surrounded me. With goblins, like, you have to have takeoff room. Your lords can get surrounded. That's why they're different than other armies, right? Like, armies you can usually detach and run away. With lords, especially on the charge, if you have a mount, they run right into the middle of a pack of units and they can get completely surrounded. You know, even something like, you know, Goblin Spears or something like that. I think that's what happened in my Goblin number 1 game, is I tied up a lord with something like Goblin Spears and maybe some wolves or something and killed him. So there is a lot of counterplay to this. I'm not sure why people hate it as much. I mean, it is because it's resilient, to some extent to a lot of things. I mean, I would understand why this would be annoying to play against as Empire, right? Because the Empire is particularly abusive with this strategy, or they can be, because they get flying mounts on their lords for very cheap. So these are only 1,000 for flying mounted lords that have extreme healing and mobility. But regardless of what I think about it, so I think it's okay. As I've explained in the past, I do hope they nerf it, just for a little bit more diversity. I just want them to cost a little bit more gold, or maybe I had a viewer suggest that maybe they could be limited to one potion per lord. That might be a decent start. Or they could just implement it to where you can't have more than one lord of each kind. That would be good too. But the problem is, other people do this. It is a meta. That means everybody's doing it just about, or some version of it. So you have to do it, or you're putting yourself at a severe disadvantage, especially with the Beastmen. I had some comments in the Beastmen campaign where they're like, well, I wish you'd run less potions. It's like, well, I'm versus vampires, though. And the vampires are really, really good, and they have that regeneration magic that, in the heck, is so strong. That's much more regeneration than a potion, spread over a bunch of units. So, and that was a great game. It was awesome. Like, that's my thing, is, like, this meta is resulting in lots of really awesome games. Like, the first Empire game was kind of a stomp. I mean, I thought it was fun, but let's be real, it was kind of a stomp. But I think that was just that person just lost track of their micro, or they were lagging or something, and that's just going to happen in some multiplayer games. But, like, the Dwarf number 11 and the Beastman number 1 are two of the best games that I've ever played in multiplayer. Like, they were so much fun, they were a nail-biter, like, they were right down to the wire. I thought it was great. And I never had one of those previously. Well, I'm not to say that my previous multiplayer videos and past patches weren't good. I certainly had some good games there, but those are just next level, like, very interesting, very entertaining. A lot of people complained online before this patch that, oh, well, these battles are done so quickly, like, it's no fun, I wish they'd take longer. Well, with lots of potions, they definitely take longer. So, I can definitely see why people would not like it, just because it's really powerful. It's objectively the most powerful thing to do now. I don't think there's any arguing that after the games that I've played, and just based on some comments from other viewers who watch a lot of competitive play, such as High Templar, who always leaves some awesome, gracious comments. You know, he has kind of confirmed that this is a very popular thing that goes on in lots of competitive play. And he has a great channel, by the way. You should definitely check it out sometime. But anyways, that's just my thoughts on it. However, I do realize, and I am here for you, I'm here for the viewers, so I will try to compromise here and scale it back a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run 2 lords this time. And I'm just going to leave this money up in the air, and I'm going to see who, or what I'm up against and what I want to use. I mean, I could throw in some cavalry. I could just throw in another unit of great swords. That might be decent depending on what I'm up against. But or a couple more crossbowmen. I just want to be clear that I'm putting myself at a strategic disadvantage by doing this. And the problem is, I'm not an awesome multiplayer player. Like, I'm okay. I just don't have a lot of games, though. I have less than 20 multiplayer games so far, so I'm not going to be, you know, a pro player and all-star. Like, I'm still used to all the abilities, some of the microing that has to go into it, things like that. It's very, very involved. And it's easy to spot a lot of micro mistakes, but when you're actually playing it, trying to make the decisions, especially when you're casting it and explaining all of your decisions, it can be very challenging to get the micro correct, for sure. So there's a lot of things I can work on, in other words. So putting myself at a major strategic disadvantage by not doing the best meta that I think has counterplay to it is going to be tough. But we'll see. We'll see if I can do it this video, and I'll just scale back the hero potions as much as I can, and I'll try to give you guys that, because I know at least a couple of viewers want to see that. So I'm going to try. I'm going to compromise with you. I hear you. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with all of the critiques, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter what I agree with, right? Like, I'm here to serve you. So I want to give you the best viewing experience possible. That does mean getting a win every now and then. So, if you know, no one wants to see me lose every game trying something that's innovative and, like, interesting and really off meta that's just not effective, right? So I assume people want to see me win. Okay. Undead, huh? They're gonna have lots of Blood Knights. So cavalry's out of the question. They're going to have some Blood Knights. I could get Halberdiers, but I think Halberdiers are too expensive. I don't really need a lot of crossbowmen. I can get rid of one crossbowman. The artillery's not going to be awesome either. I'll get one just to force them to come to us, but what do I want? I mean, I really want another Lord because the flying and flanking is going to be awesome, and it's a great way to avoid their Blood Knights. I guess I can get... I'll get one more unit of greatswords. Just a lot of spears, I guess. Yeah. Because they could have Crypt Horrors, they're definitely going to have Blood Knights. This is not really that useful, they're very mobile, they have lots of flying units. These aren't good, they can get run down by hounds. I did try the Outriders with grenade launchers once, and it was a fun experiment, but it's not really that effective. Yeah, I think just a lot of spears. And we'll just level a bunch of them up. That's fine. I mean, we left some on the table. We'll give them a little handicap there. I mean, why not? We're already giving them a huge handicap by not running the most efficient army, so we'll see if we can win this. I just have a lot of spears just because they could run Crypt Horrors. They're almost certainly going to run at least one Blood Knight. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out. And they're going to have a lot of regeneration themselves with Nahek, and they're probably going to be running heroes with potions. We'll see. I mean, I want a more balanced meta too, where there's not potions, where there's not ward sniping, or not potions, but at least like limited in some way. I totally agree with that, but I also, I have to play the game that I'm given. It is what it is. Just because we want certain things doesn't mean that's necessarily viable at a given moment, right? I really like playing Rumble in League of Legends. I've played 700 games with him in the past, but I don't play him as support bottom because it's not viable, right? Although it's a lot, I'm sure it'd be a lot of fun to play. But, as I said, I do recognize that I'm here for viewers, so I'm going to do this. And we'll try to find a way to make it work. Oh, not that.
Conditions acceptable. Mortar. For Heldenhammer.
Some people have wondered why I do really defensive builds like this, using, I don't really know what defensive means in this in respect to this particular comment, but I assume this commenter probably meant something like, why do you have artillery and ranged units? Why don't you just go all melee rush? The reason for that is you want a major diversity of threats so that they don't have good counters. Because if they just went all Graveguard here, and I had all Spearmen or something, that would be terrible. If I went all Greatswords, and they went something like, Blood Knights and Crypt Horrors, then that would be terrible. Now, they don't have a lot of flying units, but you need some air to ground, because what if they have 3 vampires on mounts that are flying with Manfred who's flying, or something to that effect, right? You need to be able to shoot at them from the ground. You don't want them to have air superiority, or they can just keep flanking around and out-microing you like I did to the last Beastmen in the first Empire episode. So you need all that, and you want artillery because you want them to run to you, so that they have to use Vigor or lose a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and move this up to the front line here. You want artillery superiority. You don't have to have that. You don't have to have much against the undead, but you definitely want them to come to you, so that they lose that vigor. Okay, those are just zombies. I don't want to fire on those. Okay, see, he has some Vargeist that I definitely want. What does he have? He has Vargeist, Crypt Horrors. Okay, Blood Knights. No Blood Knights. Okay.
We obey.
So this composition would destroy if I went all infantry.
Seeking enemy. Sigma call.
What's he casting here? Oh,
On way, General.
okay. Doing some kind of little lord sniping thing. That's fine.
Let us go. Raise your weapons. Ready. Great swords. Sigma call.
Alright, let's force him to go. Yeah.
We serve the Emperor.
Actually, let's fire into these.
Marina, guide our aim. Great sword. Ready. For the Emperor. Yes, General. It will be done.
So as soon as I see that stuff light up, I just have to run. Those aren't homing, so I can't dodge them, I think.
Mortar. Spearman. For the Warhammer. Take the ground.
He's got his flying brigade over here, so I need to go over here and deal with that.
Sigma calls.
So Vargeist are kind of rare, but he's running them.
Battle.
So this is where those will be awesome, and I need to make sure I have like one spear over here.
Endures.
I don't know what he's firing at. Oh, he's trying to fire at Mountain.
Convergence.
Oh, that. Dang, that did a lot of damage. So you see, I have to have potions for this kind of weird lord sniping that he's doing.
Let us go. I'll ready the men. That's an order. Heading into battle.
So he snuck that up on me last time.
For the Emperor. For the Warhammer. I speak, you act. Ready for war. On way, General. Take position. Obey. Crossbowmen. Yes, General. We obey. Sigma calls. Sigma call. Sigma calls. Bring lightning. Ready for war. Crossbow.
Guys, let's run. Get up here. Deal with that. Oh, let's put just one greatsword over here just to hack up all the zombies.
Sigma calls. Heading out. March has one. Ready to fire. Ready.
Those greatswords. There we go.
Great swords. Yes, General.
Don't want to use ammo on that stuff.
The Empire endures. Sigma calls. For Heldenhammer. Sir. Raise your weapons. My orders stand.
Jeez, that does so much damage.
The Empire endures. For Heldenhammer. Spearman. We are Sigma's heirs. We are Sigma's heirs. Great swords. Taking position. Yes, General. State troops ready. The portent sight chaos. For the Emperor.
Alright, well, if he doesn't want to bring in the Vargeist, that's fine.
Heading out.
I'll go ahead and use one of these potions. Fire.
My command. Yes, General. Yes, ready. Please. War. Spearman. For the Warhammer. For the Empire. Yes, ready. Move up. For the Emperor.
Whoa, whoa, no, get back.
Take the
How'd these guys get through? What is this? Oh, the zombies got through somehow to my... Guys, I want to kite them over here.
Sigma calls. Prepare for combat.
I need to break these great swords here.
I'm ready the men. We are Sigma's heirs. The Empire endures.
Kite over here.
Yes, General. Sigma, preserve us. Great swords. Yes.
Go, 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 go.
Let us go.
Mortars are fine if they want to get the mortars at this point. It's not a huge deal.
The skies.
I'd like to keep Malkador around for just one more round.
Take position. By Ulrich's wrath.
Alright, let's cycle charges.
I understand. Seeking enemy. For Heldenhammer. The Empire endures.
Actually, let's go down here and just charge these that are about to crumble. Just want to micro and just do the most damage possible to hit them in the back to hurt their morale.
For the Empire! Ready!
He's forgotten about those Vargeist over there, I think. Maybe he's trying to hold them in reserve, I don't know.
Shields up!
Actually, no, I want them into... You want the great swords into their infantry. Alright, let's go.
Keeping distance, sir! Yes, General! For Hammer!
Let's just hold.
Halt! Crossbows ready, General!
Come over here.
See to it! The Dutchman's move! Find the Emperor! Now!
Charge in there.
Awaiting orders!
How was their lord so hurt? I don't know. Maybe he jumped into something weird.
What? It will be done! Great swords!
They should be done here soon. Right over this way.
On way! Quick march! For the Empire!
Oh, I got their lord somehow. I don't even know how that happened. Okay, let's shoot into these. I need to back up with the lords, because they're going to charge into the back there. We do not want to get hit in the back. Okay, they're done. Let's rotate over here. Go to them. Alright, now charge them in the back. Alright, we've almost got Midnight Wind here. Go. Okay, got him. So he had a decent composition there. He really, really needed more Blood Knights, or he needed to flank around to my back with the Crypt Wars. That was the problem. Okay, so good fight. I'm happy I was able to do one without having the maximum efficiency with the Lord. I mean, subbing in a some extra spears was pretty good in that situation. So his great swords did get a lot of kills. Oh, he just had an... Wow, really? That seems very bad. I mean, the thing is, that little snipe thing that he was doing was actually pretty good. I mean, that dealt like half the damage off of my guy, right? So that was a lot of damage on that snipe skill. But I have pots, so I can just heal back through that. So Lord Sniping is not really good in this meta unless you know that the thing you're hitting can't equip pots. You have to really know the other factions. So for instance, Beastman Lords cannot buy pots. Most Legendary Lords cannot buy pots that I know of. So if you see any of those, then you're kind of okay to snipe. But, you know, I just don't think that's the efficient way to do it. He should have just used that in a heck, and he was doing that to heal quite a lot. But he should have done it more. He should have had his units probably grouped up more. One thing that he really, really needed was these Vargeist. He didn't use them at all. He totally forgot about them in the back. I think if he came up, once all my guys were engaged, what I thought he was going to do is wait until all my people were engaged and then come up, take out the archers from the back. He could do that in like one charge. He didn't even have to take them out. Just disrupt them, do a lot of damage, and then put the zombies on him like he did. That was good. He had my archers running from the zombies on the back line. And then use the Vargeist to charge into the back of my great swords that were there on the line. If he would have done that, if he would have sandwiched me with Vargeists and all of his other diversity, I think he would have had it. He just forgot about the Vargeists. Or maybe not had it. Had it's a strong word. I won pretty decisively. But I think that he would have had a much, much better chance of winning if he did that. And if he ran a vampire that could actually go into combat. That's why he was so hurt. He tried to charge into combat. I didn't even aim for him. Just naturally my guys were just hitting him when he charged into combat. And he just basically died from that. So I like his composition. I think it was good. I would probably... The great swords are very expensive. They are good at cracking armor. So they're pretty good. Or the Grave Guard, rather. They are pretty good. But I do like his comp. I might consider running just normal Grave Guard. I haven't seen what their... what the price differential is on them. I think it's at least a couple $100 gold though. So maybe running at least a couple more Graveguard and then maybe 1 or 2 Vargeist. You know, I don't know how expensive these Vargeists are either, but I would highly consider just maybe getting rid of these 2 Vargeists And then they're probably at least 8 or 900. I don't know. Let me just go look really quick while I'm talking about this, because I do want to do another vampire one soon, and that's going to be the end of the episode soon. I just want to see, just so I can just make some suggestions for what he could have maybe done to improve a little bit. Okay, so it's 200 more. So I would have maybe just gone with normal Graveguard. You don't have the same kind of armor piercing, but they're a lot cheaper than great swords. And so you're still winning kind of the price war there. You say, I didn't have many missile troops, so that silver shield doesn't matter that much. But I still think they would do the job of tearing up my spearmen, and then you just have something else deal with my great swords. So you would want to flank around with the cryptors probably to deal with my great swords. Yeah, these are 1,000. So I would get rid of at least one of these. And you need Blood Knights in there. I realize that everyone knows that, you know, Undead are going to run Blood Knights, but I really, really think that you want at least 1 or 2 Blood Knights in your army. They're just so unbelievably powerful. Like, if he charged these into the back of my infantry line, it would have been really bad. And it freaks people out. When you have mobility, it freaks people out because they don't know what to do. Like, do I pull spears back to deal with the Blood Knights, or do I keep them on the line? The same thing with the Vargeist. If he would have just... I mean, I do think that could have worked. If he would have just microed the Vargeist on the back line better and just charged, like, cycle charges into my back, kind of like what I was doing with my Lords on his back. If he was doing that to my back with the Vargeists, I think it would have been much more competitive. Maybe he was running the Necromancer because... Can they have potions or something? I'm just curious about that Necromancer pick. Let me just look and see. They can't even run potions. What? I'll figure this out in an Undead video and or a Vampire Counts video and post it up. But I think he can't get any items? For real? Wow. Okay. Wow, okay. Okay, so Vampire Counts can't have potions. I guess that would be overkill on the healing. Surely some of their heroes can get... Wow. Because they count as a caster unit instead of a melee unit. It's giving them caster items. Huh. There's my girl. Okay, so someone can get potions for the Vampire Counts. Okay, so we'll figure that out. I'll make a new Vampire Count video. I think I'm going to do that next, because this sounds fun. It sounds like a good challenge to try them out. But thank you very much for watching this. Hope you enjoyed it. This is a shout out to you, Frapper. And I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the other person who also suggested that I run less heroes with lords. Or less heroes with pots. So shout out to you. I do hear you. I'm trying. I'm trying to make it as entertaining as possible. It seems like that was still pretty viable. Now, he mismicroed his Vargeist a lot, so it's difficult to tell whether that would be viable against someone who perhaps remembered their Vargeist in that situation. But I will try to scale. I'll slowly scale it back as much as I can with the potions. I mean, as I get better at playing too, as I micro better, as I play more multiplayer games and get used to, you know, different approaches, need to know what I have to do in different situations. Because that's the thing, like, I know how to click, I know how to, like, I have all my stuff hotkeyed, but the problem is sometimes I don't know what to do in different situations. Because I haven't faced those situations a lot. Because I haven't played a lot of multiplayer. So that's one reason why my micro is not as good as it would be in something like League of Legends. Also, I'm microing multiple things in League of Legends, it's just one hero. But even why my micro would be worse here than it would be in something like StarCraft 2. Because there's just so many different weird situations that I haven't been in. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you wanted me to dial it back a little bit on the heroes, this is the episode for you. If you enjoyed this, watch the other episodes. I think the first Empire video was pretty fun, pretty good. It shows you the power of these flying lords that the Empire can get. Sorry, I'm just failing at language today. And we have lots of good multiplayer with other factions as well. We have Beastmen, Empire, lots of dwarves, a couple of greenskins. So we have almost everybody. I'm going to make a Vampire Count one. We do have one Vampire Count episode, but it's from a very long time ago, probably about a month ago. So it's not patch 1.2, so I'm going to make a new one for patch 1.2. And I'm going to try to keep cranking out the Empire and Dwarf. It seems like on the channel, those are the two most popular campaigns that I have going so far. And I think they have the most views in terms of multiplayer battles as well. So I know we have lots of Dwarf and Empire fans out there, so I'm definitely going to do more multiplayer with those, but I just want to show some diversity too. Just play all the other factions at least a little bit on the side. So thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video, watch the others. If you enjoy the multiplayer battles, check out the campaigns. We have legendary campaigns going for every single faction except for Chaos so far. They are pure campaigns, which is sort of a project that that's just how I'm branding all of my strategy games at this point, where I don't try to use any exploitations. That means no auto-resolve abuse, no assassinating lords on the campaign map. And I also get into tough fights on purpose a lot of the times. Like, I could wait for reinforcements, I could sit and, you know, hang out and not go for a certain fight sometimes, but a lot of times, well, not a lot, but sometimes I will just go for it. If I think it's going to be a close competitive fight, I'll go for it. And sometimes we lose fights in the Empire campaign for that. And it hurts. It's not good for business. But you know what it is good for? It's good for drama. It's good for excitement. I want to add some drama into the campaign. I don't want this to be your standard run-of-the-mill, you watch it, you know, maybe you get a decent manual fight every 5 episodes or something, and all the rest are auto-resolves, and then suddenly the campaign's done in 15 episodes, because somehow they're able to do 10 episodes, you know, 10 turns in a single episode or something like that. It's not that kind of campaign. There's lots of that out there. I've watched some of that. It's okay, but I think that mine has a lot of unique qualities to it that a lot of people would enjoy if they love good strategy gaming. So do check those out. It's a lot of fun. I also run League of Legends if you want to check that out. I'm trying to get to Diamond by only playing support. I've been kind of quagmired and low platinum for a little while here, but I think we'll get back up there. I've been as high as Platinum 1 this season, and I've made Platinum 1, I think 3 of the last 4 seasons, and I've been Platinum every season since Season 3, so I've been very close to getting to Diamond, but not quite. So if you want to check that out, watch my journey, learn from it. I do a deep level analysis while I'm actually playing the game, so it's no commenting over montages. It's not, you know, any silent playing. It's all hand-picked games that I record that are good quality games. You're not going to be sitting there watching a stream for an hour and wondering whether or not you're going to see a good quality game or whether or not they're going to play your favorite champion. You know the champion that I'm playing, you know it's going to be a high quality game, and you know you're going to get some in-depth commentary as I play it, and also in the pre-game and the post-game. So I show the champion select, so you know my thought process behind different picks, behind different bans, my commentary on different strategies the opponents are using that, you know, my allies are using. I give you lots of psychological tips, so how to deal with people that are raging, how to deal with your own rage at times, like when you should dodge, how you should dodge, how you can evaluate whether or not your team comp's going to be effective. All of this stuff, every episode. It's a lot of fun. If you really like strategy, I think it could be useful. I just recently had a Total War fan say that he or she tried out just one of my League videos, and he or she didn't think that, weren't sure if they would like the video, or weren't sure if they would like League of Legends, but they actually like the way that I comment on League of Legends, so they're going to actually check those out. So, you know, maybe you might like it, even if you don't traditionally like League commentary. It might be something you're interested in, so check it out. It's pretty fun. It's a relatively small viewership compared to my Total War community, but it's growing, and I enjoy playing some League, and I enjoy commenting on it. I think there's lots of good strategic elements, so I'm going to keep doing it, and just check it out if you have a second. So, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next episode. Have a wonderful evening.